If you've ever tried piano lessons in the past and you stopped, it's because of two reasons. You felt like you couldn't live up to the teacher's expectations and you didn't want to keep feeling like a disappointment. Or you gave it your very best effort and you weren't making enough progress to be happy about it. Or you say you can't afford piano lessons. And I think that's just not true for most people. You were basing your decision on a teacher's price tag when it really came down to not having enough trust in this person to pay them what they were asking for. Well, today I want to show you what I think learning piano is supposed to be like. Lessons that not only give you a solid foundation for learning, but are also built from empathy and trust. I'm going to be breaking down one of my Zoom sessions with a private piano student of mine, and for context, this is an actual paid piano lesson that I was given permission to record. Hey piano players, this is Warren, and I've been teaching piano for over a decade. I've been completely online since the pandemic hit last year. Thankfully, 90% of my students stuck by my side, and surprisingly, I was even able to pick up a few new students. I believe they continue to study with me because they not only achieve great results, learning piano while having fun doing it, but also because we have relationships that have been nurtured on a deeper level. This combination is what I think is missing from most piano lessons and teacher-student relationships. And if you've experienced disappointment in the past, I want to show you what a positive experience a piano lesson can truly be. So throughout this video, I'll be showing you my exact thought process that goes behind the decisions that I make and some of the teaching techniques that I use to keep my students motivated and interested in practicing and playing piano even though we haven't had a single in-person lesson for over a year. After watching this video, you'll have a framework when it comes to piano lessons online or in person, whether you decide to try them out or not. And if you've never thought about trying a virtual lesson, I hope you'll be convinced that they can be as good as the real thing. Let's get started. So what I want to show you here is a screenshot of what I see on my laptop when I'm teaching piano lessons online. So on the left hand side, you can see that I have my music here that I scan so I can follow along and teach the student at the same time. I have three cameras here, one for the side view so they can actually see how to sit at the piano, what good posture is supposed to look like, and also a top-down view here so they can easily see what keys I'm playing when I'm playing them. And of course, right here, the front, because it'd be weird not being able to see my face. For the student themselves, I only require two cameras, one for their face and one for the side so I can see if they're playing the right way. But if you had to only choose one, I would go with just this camera right here. Now, I want you to meet my student Morgan. She's been my piano student for about almost 5 years now. She's a very eager to please type of student. She does her best at every lesson. She's very thoughtful, takes her time to really think about a question before giving an answer, and she gives it her very best effort at every single lesson.
I just try to pretend it's like a normal lesson. I know that that's kind of hard to do. Myself, me too. It's not easy for me to just pretend either, okay? So this is totally normal for it to feel a little awkward, okay?
Okay. So here, what I'm basically trying to do is just normalize the experience for her because she's obviously very nervous about getting this recorded and she knows that I'm gonna put it online. So it's just to make her feel as comfortable as possible.
Alright, so before we start, why don't you share a little bit, what did you do this week?
Not really much.
Same old?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions about piano before we begin?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
So I start off every single one of my lessons with every single student just asking about how their week went because I think it's important to know what's going on in their personal lives, and then sometimes we make assumptions that they didn't practice or the assignment wasn't completed because they just didn't have the discipline to do it. But sometimes they're busy and they have stuff going on in their lives, and I just want to make sure that I'm never making an assumption that isn't true.
Then let's start with the technique, and I'm glad I have this here. I'm going to zoom in on your side camera. Okay, right, so try that one more time. Remember, it's 1, 2, 3, and then 1. All the way to the top, and stop when you get to the top, okay?
Okay.
Good. Now we come back down. 1 second. When we come back, hold on, Morgan. When we come back down, 3, and then 4, and then 3. So remember, switches between 4th and 3rd finger, okay?
Okay.
Right. And then, just like that. Good. Okay. Same thing with the left hand. Okay, that's fine. And then remember, E major, when you're coming down, I'm not gonna make you play it again, but when you're coming down in the right hand, what's the thing to remember?
So here we were doing a scale in the right hand, and I was just trying to teach her to really alternate between the 3rd and 4th fingers. So I'm not just telling her to answer here, I'm just asking her to really think about it to see if she can make that connection. You want to give them some time to really reflect on it.
Has to do with finger numbers.
Try to give a little hint to tease it out a little bit.
Any idea? So when you come down the first time, after the thumb, which finger is it?
After my son.
Yeah, when your right hand plays, coming down an octave, when we get all the way to the thumb, which finger crosses over?
The ring finger, like the middle finger.
3, 3rd finger, number 3. You got that? Say number 3.
Yes. Number 3.
Right, and then after that, which is the next finger to cross over?
The 4th finger.
What's that?
The 4th finger.
Right, and then?
And then the 3rd finger.
Right, so remember, switch is 3, 4, 3, 4, okay?
Okay.
Alright, and then the left hand going up, same thing, okay? What do I mean by that?
So right there, what do I mean by that? I'm not really telling her blatantly that it's the same exact thing. Just really want them to really see if they can figure it out for themselves. So I try to keep the question a bit general to give them a little freedom in reflection.
3, 4, 3, 4.
Good job, okay. Alright, and then yeah, B major was totally fine. Alright, Morgan, look at the piano keys, the one with the top down. Okay,
Yeah.
play exactly the ones that I'm playing. Okay. Right. There you go. Good. Okay. So remember, we call this first inversion. Got it?
Yes.
All right. How are the chords kind of easier than the scales?
Here, I kind of caught myself because I think it was way too general. It was way too vague. She didn't really have anything to go on. So I tried to clarify it a little bit, be a little bit more specific here.
There's something. Okay. Well, what does that have to do with? What do you think I'm talking about? Like, can I be more? Can I be more specific when I'm talking about the chords, right?
I think I understand.
Yeah. Am I talking about the notes, or am I talking about something different?
The hand position.
The finger numbers. Okay. So what is it about the finger numbers that's easier for the chords than for the scales?
The finger numbers are always the same.
Yes, ours exactly the same. So remember that when try to remember that when you're playing, okay? Because sometimes you go up, it's fine, and sometimes when you come down, it's a 3 when it should be a 2, or it's a 2 when it should be 3. It could be the left hand 2. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, but again, that's fine. Remember, you're doing a really good job with this video, so remember that, okay?
Okay.
All right, you're setting a really great example. We do left hand C sharp major.
Left hand.
Yeah, that one. Let me see that one time actually.
Yeah, so there, I actually wasn't sure if she did it right or not. I don't want to just assume that, oh, you're wrong, or even tell them that. So here I just say, oh, just try it again, just in case.
Okay. Yeah, this one, remember, 3, okay? Yeah.
I just want to make an important point. That also highlights the danger of making an assumption. You just assume that they did something wrong, but maybe they didn't. And you're telling them that they did something wrong, and then they're thinking that, what did I do wrong? And you don't want them beating themselves up for a mistake that didn't happen.
Person version 3 teacher. Okay. Hold on. One more time. Morgan, slow down. One more time. Good. Good. Looks good. Doing great. Three, that one. Alright, good. Alright, so Morgan, repeat after me. I'm doing an amazing job today.
I'm doing an amazing job today.
Okay.
So there, I just really try to put myself in the student's shoes. She's feeling nervous, probably more so because everything's being recorded. And as a teacher, you need to be aware of that. It's not only about teaching the material, like how are they feeling at the exact moment? So I obviously wanted her to know that she was doing a great job. And here I actually tell her to kind of self-compliment herself. And this is just a good idea to do in general because a lot of people just beat themselves up so much. I think it's kind of important to be your own cheerleader.
Faded. What did we work on with Faded today? Or last week, what was the assignment?
To memorize the entire Faded thing because you're gonna like record it.
Yeah, so there I also asked her, what was the assignment? This kind of puts them on a spot in a way, but it's good. It makes them more of an active participant because otherwise it'll just create like a passive environment, which is the worst for learning. And I'm sure you've experienced that in school as well, where you just sit there and then the teacher's just talking at you, not really to you. There's not really an exchange, a conversation that's really happening. So as much as possible, I want them to know like, look, you're not going to just coast by. I'm not just going to tell you to do everything. I want you to also take ownership of your own learning experience.
Just to work on the memory, okay?
Yeah.
So, labeled them, right?
Yeah.
And then the last part starts at measure 38. Do you know where that is?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And let me know if you...
You might have to.
Well,
Yeah, so here I want to explain what's going on. I'm asking her to recall from her own memory what specific section from the song Faded. And you see like she's really struggling there. She really can't figure it out. And at that point, that's okay to really open up the book, check which spot you're at, and then try it again. You basically do this with every section from the entire song, seeing if she can play it without looking at her music.
how about this? Let me play it. Yeah, okay. Alright, these shallow waters never met. Good job. bit more. That was very good. Okay.
This is probably the most standard part of my lesson, and it's basically just a lot of me demonstrating and then playing it back. I like to just call it I play, you play. The only thing that's missing from the online experience is the we play. At our in-person lessons, we just kind of play at the same time, but because we're online, obviously, that's a technique that I'm really missing out on.
Go back to measure 18. So 18, this. Okay. Can you tell me what this is? Just the right hand. Measure 18. Okay.
Chord.
Is it just a chord? Yes, it is a chord, but can you be more specific?
In
The tip of your tongue, you almost got it. Is this the original position?
no.
No, what is it? Yeah, you can tell me.
C major.
C major what? What do we call this one specifically?
This is second.
Yes, second.
Inversion.
Yes.
You see, it's just so hard to really hold back and not give them the answer. But here I'm basically trying to get her to apply the stuff she's learning in her technique and music theory to see that there's a connection in the actual music that she's learning. And if you do that, they're more likely to understand why they're doing things like inversions and arpeggios and scales that actually has practical value. When you show them that, they're happy to practice this stuff.
Alright, great work on this. Look at that. It's like you pretty much made it to the end. We've only had one lesson on it. You did most of the practice. So you got like 99% of it done on your own.
Okay.
How does that make you feel?
I guess proud of myself.
Make you feel really good. Real proud. Yeah, I'm real proud of you. You should feel real proud of yourself, okay?
Okay.
Alright, great.
And whenever a student does something well, you always want to be generous with praise when that happens. A lot of times, the teachers just act like it's something normal. You put a lot of work into it, and I think the most disappointing thing is not to be recognized for it. Every chance I get, I want the students to know that I appreciate the work they do, and if you praise them for a particular action, they're gonna do more of it. Before you go, what I hope you take away from this video is that lessons can be a really fulfilling experience. It's always sad to me hearing stories where things didn't work out. So if you stopped taking lessons because of a bad teacher, I hope you keep on looking, because I really believe you'll eventually find someone who's the perfect fit for you. If you've never had lessons in person or online, I hope you'll at least give it a try. Now, if you truly cannot afford lessons or find a good piano teacher, I want you to know that I'm here for you on this channel. Leave a comment with what you're currently struggling with or any questions that you might have, and I'm gonna do my very best to help you. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate it if you liked this video. If it's your first time here, subscribe, hit the notification bell, share this video. I'll see you guys next time, and happy practicing.